Alright, we'll get that fired up. Alright, hello everyone. This is Kairu. If you don't know me, I'm the #1 Dingo Dial right now in contention for Best Blocker as a whole in Crash Team Rumble. And I kind of just wanted to talk about a little bit, in my opinion, the state of the meta and where like a lot of characters at right now. Gonna be working my way up from the bottom up to the top, giving my opinions about characters, what they can do, what they can't do, where they struggle, and like if they're outclassed or not. So starting from the very bottom, in my opinion, just the definitive worst character in the game, it's Ripto. He can gimmick you on maps that have like gaps on them because as a booster, his best thing that he can do is fight over gems. When it comes to relics, I mean, he has very little movement, so he's going to be outclassed by the vast majority of the cast as far as relic collection. But he can at least kind of fight on relics, and mainly on maps, for example, like Waist Deep and City Scrape, where you have gaps between the gems. So he can do Tsunami into lightning, and then if the lightning spikes you over a gap, you're either just straight up killed, or you're sent so far down that he has so much time to let the relic or let the gems finish capping that you just can't get back in time, really. And even if you do get back in time, he hits you just like with one more Tsunami, and you're just stun locked for so long that you can't really do anything. Yeah, for gems, he's okay with that, but I mean, with everything else, that's really all he's got going for him. Like, his damage is okay, but it's like the priority on Tsunami is low enough that a lot of characters can just easily beat it. So he's getting outclassed when it comes to relic collection. He's going to struggle to score. He can fight on gems, although other characters just can fight better. He's just outclassed in basically everything. So yeah, he's the only character that I think is in like a definitive bottom tier on his own as kind of just being bad. His fireballs could definitely use a little tracking. Maybe you give them more damage. I would start off with just like adding better tracking to the fireballs, seeing how much that adds, and then you could go from there. So then you move up to the next tier for characters that like you can make them work, but they're gonna need help on objectives, and they're still outclassed, but you still can do things with them. And I think the worst character in this tier is going to be Engine. Boombox did recently get stealth buffed to where it has slightly more HP, and if you're dropping it directly on either someone or on like a power, it'll do more damage than it did before. But Engine still has a lot of the problems that he just has had before, where it's just, sure, he can do that, but I mean, Boombox is still pretty fucking easy to destroy. He can't contest things by standing on them because his two abilities to do knockback force him into the air. So if he wants to flip a gem, he has to go into the air, which stops flipping the gem, which it just puts him at a lot of odds, because it's like you almost have to run plant with him because otherwise you can't capture anything. But it's like if there's just other powers that Engine can also run that like feel like they're better for him, and it's just like it just puts him at odds with what he wants to do versus what he needs to do. Shurikens do seem to track a little bit better now, but I mean, still, they only do so much damage, and Engine just has very little health, and it's like, sure, he can fall in the air for a long time, but I mean, if you just hit him once he fucking lands, because he has to eventually land, I mean, depending on which character it is, you're taking half his HP and you're forcing him to just fuck off and go do something else. But he can be good as support. He's very annoying, or rather very annoying as support, but again, that's kind of all he can do, be support. He can't do really much on his own, because again, another booster, but struggles to do a booster's job. Next character, gonna be Entropy. She has been severely fucking nerfed, and while I'm kind of glad she has been because of how much of a fucking menace she was Season 1, slightly overdone. She still has really fucking good mobility though, so she's able to be kind of wherever she's needed at a moment's notice. But it's just like when it comes to doing her primary role of blocking, she's going to struggle there and she'll need help. And just in my opinion, if you're struggling as a whole blocking when your role is a blocker, just... Because the thing is, she has some niche uses on certain maps where it's like time tethers are really fucking good, and that's still what she has going for her. Her biggest thing, like even with the mobility, like the time tethers are still really fucking good. They're on a cooldown now, thank God they are, because they were insufferable to deal with before. But Time tethers can still put in work on certain maps. For example, the first one that comes to mind is Refinery, where time tether just doesn't fucking care if you have flame trap up. It'll go through it and it'll hit you. You have to still respect it. And sometimes, depending on where you are, time tether can just force you to jump, which it's either jump or get hit, and either way, your timer is getting reset for depositing. Yeah, Tropy's damage is just not really it. She still can do combos and stuff, but it's just a lot harder now with the tether cooldown. So it's like with that, it's just like, combined with her lower damage, yeah, it's like, I would just like 5% damage on her melee attacks only. Do not give time tether more damage in that, because it's ridiculous. And I also forgot to talk about what I would change for engine. I guess make like just give him more damage to powers first and see how that goes, because I mean, again, it's, even though he has the new thing with boombox, it's still just like certain powers just kind of tell him to fuck off. But next after Tropy, another character that in my opinion has fallen from grace, not everyone will agree, but I think it's Coco. I think Coco's bad now. Bottom 4 character. Really, the biggest thing she had going was the wall, and the fact that it got a +1 second cooldown, which may not sound like a lot, but in a heated moment, it is a lot. Combine that with the fact that she struggles to fight, it's just... all she has really now is relic collection. Because yes, she is still very fast though. Very fast, able to get the relics. A booster, so she gets double relics. So speed plus double relics is very nice, but it's like, depending on where it is, you can struggle to put that in, because again, the biggest weakness with Coco on the wall is that there's no way, I don't care whatever anyone says, this is not a thing. You cannot put up wall, stand inside, and be completely invincible. You are vulnerable on one side. So, if there are 2 people trying to get something, one gets one side, the other gets the other, guarantees Coco will get hit. Which means that even if she's doing something like a relic station, she's going to need assistance. And just as of today, because today's January 3rd. Just last night, January 2nd, Tap and Nitro Crew played a war, and on Refinery, every single time that the Coco wanted to put in relics for Flame Trap, somebody else had to be there to assist her, because they know that if 2 people jump Coco, she's not going to be able to do her job. So it's another, this character can do things, but needs assistance at basically every step, because also on gems, the fact that not only did she get a damage reduction, but Spiral now has even less priority, so it just loses to things way more often now, more easily. If not, and like the only thing I can think of that is, I don't even know what it fucking trades with now, or like, I think the only thing I've seen it like really beat now is like Spiral's charge. So it's just like the fact that it's losing to like basically fucking everything else in the game, though, it's just like, okay, well, good luck fighting for this, because you're gonna have to try and get a slam, and it's just like, if you have to rely on slam, and it's telegraphed, because it's like you have to jump up for that, and it's like if someone sees you jumping up, they just respect the space under you and then punish you when you whiff. Yeah, it's just, she just struggles. She, like, bare minimum, I think she needs the Spiral nerf reverted. People just hate the wall. Whatever, we'll start with the Spiral nerf reversion, and then go from there. Personally, I think wall should also get less of a cooldown, but I know I'll get my head fucking chopped off for that. So we'll say, Toys for Bob, just revert the Spiral nerfs for now. And last character in this tier is Brio, who was, congratulations to him from crawling his way up from the absolute fucking worst character into the game. He's still bottom 5 in my opinion now, but hey, it's a lot better than where he started. So Brio can be really fucking annoying depending on your character, just because of the way that he can like just bounce on his slimes, and like he could have a slime on the ground, throw another one on it to bounce him up higher, drink, and it's really fucking hard to do anything about that. And the fact that now he can throw slimes just as far as he fucking wants, the flash will only pop when it actually like makes contact with something, means that he can just be somewhere, throw a flash from who fucking cares where, and have it land on a gem, and it'll flip it for him. Really fucking annoying to deal with. However, it's still another thing where it's like Brio is the actual, in my opinion, slowest character. I would give him the title slowest character, because Ripto at least has Tsunami, that'll at least get him forward a little faster. Brio can only go upwards faster. He can't go straight ahead of him faster. He just has to basically walk everywhere, and that's all he's got. So it's like he really can kind of only be fairly stationary, because it's like, if you're not on the bank with him, if you go do something else, someone goes to the bank because they see you hop off of the bank, and you cannot make it back in time whatsoever. But it's like, he's at least annoying when he's there, but it's still like, he struggles to solo block, especially against certain characters. For example, like, if Ripto is facing a Crash, the Crash is just fucking scoring on him. Like, the Crash is just slide spinning back and forth, and Rio's just gonna get fucked over for it. And the fact that it's just like, I feel like as a blocker too, it's like, because he can deal with some characters solo, but the fact that he struggles with certain characters solo, and then you have multiple characters on the bank, and really his only option then is to transform, because he's not going to be able to really get multiple people trying to score with just fucking throwing flash, because at that point they just jump his ass. So it's like, the fact that he can't just deal with multiple people at once, that I feel like that's an issue as a blocker. So it's like, he's in a much better place than he was before, but he still needs something. I think the starting point is you make it so that when he detransforms, he can at least like either move or at least move a little bit, because the fact that he detransforms and he has to just stay still is just such a detriment. Because if you see him transform, you just go away, you hover around the area for a little bit, you wait until he's gonna detransform, see him land on the ground, because the Brios always love to, when they're in Brute, they always love to do the jump, double jump, and then they land back on the ground to extend the time a little bit before detransforming. So they do that, they go back, they land, they detransform, and then you hit them. And there's really nothing they could do about it, except run bounce crates to push themselves up into the air after. But it's like, if you're burning a power just to get away from being punished, it just, having to burn a resource on that is just, and then the fact that bounce crates also got nerfed recently too doesn't really help that case either. Yeah, just like let him move when he's detransforming. So that's it for that characters. And now we have characters that I think are just good. They're good. They do their job well. They're not like exceedingly, they might have like one or two areas where they're like really, really fucking annoying, but they're not broken. They're not like a character that like you need to have on a team, but they're a character that it's very, very, very good to have on a team. Lowest one in this tier for me is Ripto. Basically, since his introduction, he's always been a fucking fantastic support blocker. He's struggled on his own. He still can do things, especially now when he has the kind of like the middleman between season 1 and season 2, where the bombs are like slower, but they're stronger now. So like he can do things, like he definitely like can block against one person. Against two people, it becomes a little bit of a struggle, depending on the characters. But again, if the Rue is running crates, which I think is the power he generally works best with, because that just helps him with clearing bank, which he can sometimes struggle to do on his own, it's usually okay, and he can just call for backup then. But also, I know someone's gonna say you can make the same argument for Brio. Brio being less mobile than Rue, because Rue could like has like fucking bounce and everything, all his mobility. Rue can like actually like dodge and weave a little better than Brio, in my opinion. So Rue just does it better than Brio, which is part of why I put Brio down there, because I feel like Rue just kind of outclasses him. Yeah, I think Rue's fine. The only thing that's a little awkward right now is just with the bounce crates nerf. It's a little weird now, because it's just like, I don't know. Again, I don't know why they did the bounce crates nerf. But yeah, I think Rue's still really good as a support blocker. Like if you pair him with someone dedicated to being on bank, he's really, really fucking annoying to deal with. And it's like, you have him be support blocker, and then when he's not needed as a support for blocker, he can go and help in other areas as well, because he has really good mobility. So it's like he gets around and he's able to just throw shit and be really fucking disruptive wherever needed. Next character in this list, Crash. What more do I really need to say other than slide spin? Sure, he has a lot of tech. He has slam cancels, he has combos and everything, but I mean, really at the end of the day, the biggest thing is that slide spin just has an insane fucking amount of priority, combined with the fact that it's a mobility tool, combined with the fact that it does good damage. The move does it all. And even if you took out other parts of the character's kit, slide spin is just so fucking ridiculous that it just puts him up in this fucking, it just puts him up in it just makes him an actual like good and viable character, because it's like it's difficult to contest. Only certain characters can contest it with certain of their moves. So it's like it's sometimes it's an actual group effort to stop one crash from scoring just because of how good slide spin is. And it's like at this point, Crash is literally a better Coco if you ask me. He's basically the same speed, if not a little faster, depending on like what map it is. And sure, he can't see double relics, but the fact that he could get around just as quickly as Coco, so he can collect relics just as quickly, and the fact that he can actually fight back against people means that he's able to clear people off of areas that are needed, and also being able to get those relics and turn them in when needed. So, in my opinion, I feel like right now personally, like Crash is literally just a better pick than Coco in almost every instance. Like the only time that I would be like, yeah, it makes sense to not pick Crash instead of Coco here is if you already have 2 scorers on your team. Because for those who don't know, for Compub, when we do wars, we limit it to 2 per role, so you can only have 2 scorers on your team. So if you already have 2 and you'd want to pick Crash, that would be an illegal comp. You can't run that. You would have to change one of your already existing scorers to Crash. But yeah, Crash is very, 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 very solid character. And the only reason that he's not top 5 for me is because of the new poster boy, Spyro. Spyro is the first character that I will put in top 5. Spyro is obscenely fast, the fastest character in the game. Sparks is just fucking dumb because he doesn't have to actually touch relics to get them, so he's literally just better Coco in basically every fucking way. Like, sure, he doesn't get double relics, but like the fact that he can get around to get relics faster means that those double relics are irrelevant, and the fact that he's getting around that quickly means he's going to deny enemy Cocos those double relics. And this is also just like a slight thing in general, but I feel like a lot of players focus too much on letting boosters get double relics, because at that point then it's just like, okay, well, what would you prefer? Your team get +1 relic or the enemy team get +2 relics? So I feel like more people in general also just pick up any relic that they see, because especially if you know that's a double, you don't want the enemy team getting a double. But anyways, back to Spyro. Flame, being able to do DOT and range, solid. Charge has low priority. However, the fact that it just gets him around and he's able to just break crates and, again, just get around the map very quickly so he can get every fucking relic in existence, basically. Extremely, extremely fucking useful. Also, the fact that it gives him a higher jump, too. And the fact that, with that higher jump, you have the head bash cancel for even more mobility, plus glide. The character's mobility is just really fucking ridiculous. And it's like, if a Spyro understands when they're in danger of dying in a certain scenario, they can basically almost always guarantee disengage. The only time they can't is if there's an enemy Spyro who cuts them off, because of how fast Spyro is. And the only way that you can guarantee that this character will actually die is if you have one of your own on your team to kill him. It's just like, he can struggle a little bit to score on his own because of how low because of how low Charge's priority is. But I mean, if you make good use of like the head bash, like dash, and also flame from like safest range against the blocker, you can get it done. Most of the time, you probably will need support, or you will need a power, like for example the guard, dropping guard while also scoring to be able to secure it. But he can get it done. It's just a lot more difficult, and Spyro's much more of a team-oriented character. Like if you're running, like when you run Spyro solo in matchmaking, you can feel the difference. Like, he doesn't feel that powerful, but you put him on a coordinated team, and he's able to get so much done. Moving on, the next tier for just really fucking solid characters, and like it's always good to have one of these on the team. Number 4 in the game, in my opinion, right now is Dingodile. As the Dingodile player, Dingodile is just really fucking solid. Spin is a good move that you can just throw out if you need to just get people off of you. Charge Spin has really fucking good priority, increases speed, clears an area that you need. Vac Pull, very fucking good range and good damage if you're doing the damage extension. Character is just very solid. Like, the only thing that he really has like a bit of an issue with is just his mobility. But I mean, again, Charge Spin is able to increase your speed so you can get around faster. So it's like, if you're charge spinning around the map and you know how to get from place A to place B, the character is very good. Like, a lot of people will say that Dingodile is slow, but then you have me, who just in Crash 4, I did basically nothing but play home cooking for the time trial world record. I understand how to get from point A to point B very efficiently with a character that has limited mobility options. And that's part of what's lacking for a lot of Dingodiles. It's just understanding the routes. How do I get from point A to point B as efficiently as I possibly can? And the fact that he has Charge Spin now Charge Spin now in compared to Crash 4 helps him with that, because he's just able to have a move that gets him quicker. And Charge Spin can also get him over some gaps that he can't normally just do a single jump over, and he has to hover, which slows him down a little bit. But yeah, character's just very good. Like literally the only 2 characters that he actually loses to are higher than him on this list. And the one character that I would argue he has an even matchup on, number 3, in my opinion, very controversial, I feel like, for a lot of people, for me putting them this high, Catbat. Yeah, Catbat is the one that goes even with Dingo. Catbat is still a very fucking good character, in my opinion. Dive is just fucking ridiculous. You have Burger for both healing and damage. And like, sure, the mobility isn't the most amazing thing in the world, but also being able to have like the multiple jumps, so you could just like whatchamacallit, you can just vertically disengage when need be, really fucking good. You do multiple jumps, you do Burger, you heal yourself, and you're able to go back in potentially. Or if you see your team needs help, you dive in to try and clear the area, throw a Burger for them, they get healed. Character is just really fucking good. I think Catbat is like, the thing is that Catbat is just such a fantastic support, but right now a lot of people just try to use Catbat a little too like solo aggro, just doing things on their own. But like, and I will admit, like, I've talked about a lot of characters where it's like, oh, well, if they have to have support for this, they're not really that good. Catbat is half of that, because Catbat does end up needing support for a lot of things. However, Catbat is also right now the best fucking support. Elora comes out tomorrow, so I can still say that Catbat is the best support. Catbat is the best support for basically fucking everyone, because of how much of a fucking nuisance Dive is, and also having the Burger. Especially because when you factor in the fact that for all the other characters right now that have a slam type attack, if they cancel out of it, they can't do another one. Catbat can cancel the dive, jump away, and do another dive before landing. So even if you bait out one dive, you still have to worry about baiting out the second dive before they land. And if they do land, it's the fact that the shockwave on the ground actually lasts for much longer than it visually appears to. Like, you can like, Catbat will dive, and like a second after they hit the ground, you can go into the area and you will still get hit, because it just has such a long lingering hitbox. But yeah. And then, I mean, Catbat can solo score, it's just difficult sometimes. It's similar to Spyro, where it's like you have to have things properly line up, where it's like you kind of need to like dive the enemy blocker, and then you need to Burger them, and then it'll be like enough time away from you that generally you can score, but also depending on the character that's blocking, you may not be able to, and you may need to use a power. But I just think Catbat's like really, really fucking underdeveloped right now. There's only been so many Catbat players that we have, but I think the character has really fucking amazing potential. So that's it for that tier. Then we get to the next tier for this character in specific that I have a massive hatred for, because she just shits out damage nonstop, because why not? Tawna. What is there to say except for you get hit by one combo from Tawna, and suddenly you need to go to 12 different fucking hospitals and get the best doctors in this damn country to help you, because my god, why can't you do half of Dingodile's HP in one combo? It's stupid. Yeah, so I mean, Tawna shits out damage, good mobility with the hook shot, like priority on the fucking zipline of hook shot is pretty fucking high. Uppercut and overhead just have ridiculous fucking hitboxes while doing ridiculous damage. The character just kills. She's a kill machine basically, and she has 130 Wumpa capacity. She will kill you and then drop off what she needs. Really kind of all there is to say about it. She needs a damage reduction, and that's really all that we can say. Like, it's Tawna. If you play this game constantly, you understand the problem with Tawna. And then the absolute number one character in this game, according to me, according to a couple other people, I don't fucking care that he's gotten how many nerfs, it's Cortex! Cortex is still the best fucking character despite all of these nerfs because of the massive utility that his kit provides for him. His dashes will get him around the map as fast as he fucking needs. He's got the quadruple jump from his dashes, plus he does the double jump, dash jump, and he can fucking vertically disengage. And vertical disengage is fucking really annoying in this game. But also, he can just not disengage. He can do that, go up, drop piano. You have to respect the area he's dropping that on. A lot of the times, he'll do that around, for example, the epic relic station. You have to get away from that when there's a big scramble. He can guard that. He has polymorph, which if you get hit by poly into dash, big fucking damage. But there's also the fact that not only can the piano do AoE, if two people are close enough, Polyshock can hit both of them. Why? I don't know. So there's that. He can, like, the fact that he can just shut off characters like that. Again, scoring, he can also, if it's just like one person there, poly dash, and it just sends so far that you can't fucking get back. And he also has the dashes to just mix up on the bank as he's depositing. Like, the character just does everything. He's gonna fight and kill you on gems if you don't have support, and if you have support, he calls in support, and then it's just Cortex with someone beating some ass on gems because it's Cortex, and he can safely pepper damage from a distance, drop pianos, throw poly, so you have to bob and weave, and you can't fucking stay in one spot. You can't flip the gems. All of a sudden, the enemy team got the gems. And then also with his dashes, he's helping him get around. He's a booster. He gets double relics. Just another fucking thing that Cortex needs. Really fucking solid character. There's really not a weakness on him except for having low HP. But I mean, if the worst thing about your character is that they don't have very much HP, they don't have a lot of survivability, when you're that mobile, you're good. You're fucking golden. In a lot of games where you have a character who will die very quickly, they die very quickly because they're extremely strong in nearly every other aspect. And it's like Cortex is no exception here because he just does everything. So, yeah, in general, that's just kind of like my general thoughts on like the cast as of right now. Elora's gonna come out tomorrow. Probably gonna kill the fucking game if I'm being honest. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.